everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, hi everybody. I am so happy that we are back here today, and we are going to talk about this R. Kelly tea, because I hope y'all know that I am not going to let this trial go by without talking about R. Kelly and getting into some things. So let's get into some things about this trial. Now, we already had the first accuser. The first accuser apparently was Jerronta Pace, and so the second accuser, I believe, is Azriel Clary. So we're going to go into a little bit into her story. So the second accuser gave her testimony for over 3 hours in a federal district court. So let me tell you, when accusers well, I'm not going to say accusers, but when witnesses' testimony goes so long, it usually is not a good sign for the defense. And the reason why, and I know a lot of attorneys will say like, oh no, it doesn't matter, but the reason why is that it slowly starts to pull it pulls the jury in, right? It pulls them into their story. That's more narrative for them to hear, and narrative is very persuasive. Narrative tends to be something that people believe and that people are feel more comfortable with, right? Because that's what we're used to, right? We watch stories, we read books where it's this long narrative and long story. So when someone captivates you for 3 hours, imagine that's like watching a 3-hour movie, right? Think about the best movies ever made. They're usually the 2 and 2.5, 3-hour movies. So it's very captivating. And it captivates you for that long. And so the prosecutors introduced a woman who first met R. Kelly when she was 17. She's now 23. She took the stand this week under a pseudonym because of privacy concerns, which is why I think it's Azriel, because I know she said she was being threatened so that she wouldn't testify. She testified on Tuesday that her family were initially hopeful that Mr. Kelly could help advance her career as an aspiring singer. The entertainer let her audition, she said, but when she met, the two met, Mr. Kelly was more interested in the S-E word. The singer's legal team has sought to catch his accuser as former fans who are crazy, right? So we know that. And they say, and so according to his defense attorney, after being violated, devastated, and outraged, you flew out to meet him. So that's what the attorney asks. After being violated, devastated, and outraged, you flew out to meet him. That's what one of Devarro Canik, that's what he asked the accuser. And she said, and so they believe it's because that goes to their narrative that this is just a plan to exploit him. Now, one thing that I'm going to say, and I have been meaning to say this, is that I feel like the attorneys, the way that the attorneys' defense is built is a little problematic for me, and I can see it being a problem for them in the future. It just seems like the defense team is taking the approach like these are scarred fans, but I mean, it's not really giving me he didn't do it. It's just that you're mad now, which is not like a defense, right? I mean, it also talks about. They also spoke about, I believe people talked about this, was they talked about Aaliyah, who was married to R. Kelly when she was 15. And she has also been very central in this case. And really what the prosecution is establishing is a pattern of using his fame, a pattern of using his celebrity, and a pattern of using his influence to convince, influence, and lead these young girls and young men, apparently, to do things that they wouldn't have, that they shouldn't be doing, right? Whether they did so consensually does not matter. A witness testified last week that he bribed a government employee for a fake license so she could marry Mr. Kelly, who believed that she may have been pregnant with his child. The woman who testified over 2 days this week says she first met R. Kelly when she was 17, and so this is back to the second accuser. She told jurors of jarring scenes of torment that played out over her years of interactions with him. She recalled receiving instructions to write letters laced with lies that claimed she had stolen expensive jewelry or large amounts of money from Mr. Kelly as an insurance policy in case she spoke out. She also said that R. Kelly tried to distance her and others who live with him from their parents, telling them that their parents did not mean anything to them. This accuser also graphically described a system of physical abuse that existed as punishment for breaking the singer's stringent rules. One she said was a requirement for permission to leave assigned rooms. For instances, when she was not let out in time, R. Kelly associates had purchased extra large cups for her to pee in. Oh my God. So she's saying she was locked in a room, and if she didn't get out in time, they bought extra large cups so that she could pee in the cup, so she wouldn't urinate on herself, but she couldn't leave out of the room. And it said that his associates would buy it. And so that's why, it's just a system of abuse and a cycle of abuse. And so when people say like, oh, they wanted this, it's just sick, because this is really a cycle. And when you have multiple people around you telling you something is okay, you begin to believe it. She said the accuser also said against the singer's rules. She stayed in touch with several close friends during her time with Mr. Kelly and hid interactions by deleting texts. She also said she sent them photos of herself with the message, "Keep these." She said, "I just needed someone else to have proof in case something happened to me." And so that was according to the New York Times. Based on this, I believe we went over the complaint. It seems like this is Jane Doe number 5. She said that she was one of the 2 women, which we have just confirmed, right? I mean, not confirmed, but it's more than likely Azriel. The witness identified herself as one of the 2 women living with Kelly at his Chicago Trump Tower condo until the end of 2019. So we can pretty much assume that it is Azriel Clary. This accuser also said that she was not able to watch the documentary and that she had not seen it when she went on Gayle King. She also the prosecutor also asked her when she was interviewed by Gayle King, was she being truthful? And the accuser said, "No, I was not." Then she said R. Kelly was in the room when they spoke to Gayle King, and she said he did a cough to let us know when he was near. He was letting us know he was in the room with us. So when they're answering questions with Gayle King, R. Kelly is in the background coughing to let them know he's still here, which means that they really were not speaking freely. I believe it was insinuated during the interview that they were speaking freely. So she's saying here that they were not. And so then the next thing is she talked about her having R. Kelly forcing her to have SE word with someone who he addressed as his nephew. She says, "He wanted me to please the nephew the same way I pleased him." And the prosecutor asked if she wanted to have SE with the nephew, and she said never. And the prosecutor asked, why did you? And she said it was punishment. So their punishment was having to sleep with other men. She also, this accuser also described writing groveling letters to Kelly, 4 of which were admitted into evidence. These letters would not be acceptable. These were apology letters. And so a quote from the letter says, "As long as I'm apologizing and accepting my chastisement, you should be happy. Everything with me is a problem, and I'm desperate to make it work. This isn't teaching. I don't know what more you want from me." She said she saw Kelly as chastising. And then she also talked about when she wept when she discussed contracting herpes from R. Kelly. She said, "This man previously gave me something he knew he had." She said of Kelly, whose charges included knowingly infecting with his accusers with STIs. So this is a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal. She is saying, so that's why I said this is a big deal. It's not just about whether the women wanted it or didn't want it, or whether of age. They also threw in knowingly affecting women with herpes, on top of SE with young women who were under the age of 18, on top of having a sex cult, and then on top of it of racketeering and running a criminal enterprise. So they are not playing with R. Kelly, just so y'all know. But it's so much juice, but it's really like too much for a 10-minute video. But in the meantime, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna try and record tomorrow so we can get into some more things. Bye.